Hi, Mama Tree here. This is my newest painting called Spiritual Bypassing. And I've not heard a lot of talk about that, so I want to take a minute to explain what spiritual bypassing is. So, spiritual bypassing is the idea that we can use spiritual practices, metaphysical techniques to remain in the love and light, to have only positive experiences. And there's a problem with that. The problem with that is that whatever our pain and anger is, whatever our deep woundedness is, it can leak through. So I'm going to add these layers. This painting is going to have several layers. And this one here. And so these are the kinds of things that we might tell ourselves. I banish all that's not of love and light. Only love and light may dwell here. I am love and light. I am safe and whole. I attract wealth and health. I am spiritual. These are all fine things to believe. I've used these kinds of daily affirmations and they're really helpful and healthy. However, it has to be combined with work called scooping out the wound. I'll explain that in a minute. If it's not combined with scooping out the wound, then what happens is what psychologist Carl Jung described as the shadow and the persona. So the persona is this voice that's banishing everything that's not love and light, and focusing on these affirmations. And when you're fully in that persona, you feel good. You feel like you're love and light. You really are attracting health and wealth. You really are spiritual and gifted. Then something happens. There's a shift, and you're dwelling in what's called the pain body. Because when you've spent all your time in the persona, you've pushed all of the darkness, all of the pain into what Jung called the shadow. That's that dark stuff under this layer of words. And so some examples of what the shadow says when the pain body is in charge is, why am I in so much pain? What's wrong with me? Everything hurts. Sometimes I can't even get out of bed. I can't take the pain. I have to take this medicine, but I can't take this medicine anymore. I don't like the way it feels. I got raped because of this medicine. It makes me unclear. I can barely eat. I'm not feeling hungry. I have to stop taking this medicine. And then the individual who has the strength, the persona then wrestles its way to the top, passing the pain body, and goes back into the I'm fine. I just realized that I need to do a clearing. I need some sage. I need to practice this chant, or whatever your favorite metaphysical tools are, some yoga, some meditation, and then banish all that's not love and light. You can even hear it in the language that the persona is using. The persona is the part of the ego. The ego is literally split in two at this point. The persona is the light half, and the shadow is the dark half. And everything that the persona is banishing gets shoved into this shadow. And by the way, it gets projected onto people around the individual. And it when it's been pushed down for long enough, it rises up and takes over the body and expresses itself as what we often call the pain body. So then you're back into, I need money, I work all the time, I need investors for these 3 amazing businesses, or everything is my mother's fault, everything is my ex-husband's fault, it's all because I got raped when I was a child. The shadow not only contains all that darkness, but it's trying to project it onto others. It's everybody else's fault. Okay, so there's this tug of war happening between the shadow and the persona. And Carl Jung, the psychologist, encouraged his clients to find ways to integrate the persona and the shadow, to embrace the pain and the darkness within, to go back to dig under these layers and go back to the initial traumas and dramas and dig into the wounds, reopen the scabs, if you will, and let the blood flow. And here's why. Because when you were experiencing these traumas and dramas, it wasn't safe for you to really let the emotions be expressed. While you're being victimized, it's not safe for you sometimes to scream and cry. So the actual molecules of your emotion from that trauma are trapped inside your flesh, and it manifests in things like disease, illness, injury. And the more you try to whitewash over these old pains with these affirmations, the stronger the pain body gets. The pain body demands to be felt, seen, heard, and understood. And so what I'm suggesting is, before you get to a place where you're caught up in this struggle between the shadow and persona, that you take some time to do some work on your wounds. So I have some earlier videos about that. There'll be videos in the future about that. And I think that this painting might not be done, so I'd enjoy showing that to you again. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.